the next morning, and now that I'm back at UVA, we're gonna go ahead and start getting a move on with things. One of the habits that I'm trying to get into this year is making my bed. I know a lot of people say that it helps make their day really productive by starting it off on a good note, but if I'm being honest, I really don't think making my bed in the morning has an effect on my productivity levels, at least personally. However, it does make me feel like I have my shit together when I come home to a made bed, and it just makes the room look a lot more put together overall, which is why I'm gonna be trying to make it every single morning and just get in that habit before I head off to classes. Look at this beautiful made bed. Ignore the little this thing. That's like the electric box, and I just put a piece of cardboard over it. That's too small. I don't know what else to do with it. Classes don't start for another week for me, but I'm still trying to get in the habit of making my bed now so that once classes do start, I'll already have it in my routine. Another habit that I also want to get into is doing my makeup in the morning and just putting on an outfit that makes me feel confident. I feel like it totally changes my mood for the day. It just makes me feel more put together and confident, and just overall boosts my mood for the most part. I'm gonna be right back once my makeup is done. And we're done. I highly recommend putting on something that you feel comfortable and confident in, whatever it may be, whether it's doing your makeup, putting on a fun outfit, or even just wearing sweatpants. If that's what makes you feel confident and good, then wear it. So the next thing we're doing is going grocery shopping so that I can get some good fruits and veggies and healthy foods to prepare myself for the new semester. I really think it is so important to fuel your body right, because how you feel on the inside totally affects how you feel on the outside. So in order to get everything together before the school year starts, I'm gonna go do some errands. I'm gonna pick up my twin brother Ben, and we're gonna do our groceries together. I always make a list on my phone of all of the groceries that I need so that when I go to the store I can be efficient. I already know what I'm planning on making for the week, so it's really easy to just pick up what I need. Look at this absolute rainbow of groceries. We have some bread, strawberries, raspberries, tomatoes, chicken breast, sweet potatoes, smoked salmon, vanilla Greek yogurt, some crackers, bananas, mangoes, which I'm allergic to, but I'm allergic to the skins, so these are usually fine for me. Some cheese, Brussels sprouts, avocados, kale, spinach, broccoli, blueberries, blackberries, and some regular non-vanilla Greek yogurt. Oh, and also a cucumber right here. It's a little hidden. I'm so excited. I love having so many different fruits and veggies to snack on. My plan is to meal prep all of it. So making all the sweet potatoes, maybe not all of it because that is quite a few of them, but making the broccoli, Brussels sprouts, all of that jazz, and getting it all ready so that it's really quick and easy. Same with the chicken, so that when I do get hungry during classes and for the next week before classes start, I have all of these healthy options ready to go, and you can make them for a variety of different things, mix and match different foods. So I love just having all of that variety. This just makes my heart so happy. I love grocery shopping. I love making food and just having healthy options in my fridge. And shout out to Aldi for making it so cheap. I mean, all of this was, I believe it was about $70, which is like kind of a decent amount, but for everything that you're getting, like this is gonna last me about 2 weeks probably. Obviously the fresh produce won't last the full 2 weeks, but everything else, like a lot of this won't go bad for quite some time. And yeah, we're doing good. And now we're gonna meal prep all of that food. I usually like repackaging things. I have all of these containers right in here. I think I'm just gonna get all of my containers out and start putting things in a home and finding a place for it in the fridge. Look at how beautiful. I seriously am obsessed with this. I love that you can just grab some fruits, some veggies, anything that is just super quick and easy to snack on, or you can put it together and make a whole meal out of it. Here's some chicken, tomatoes and cucumbers, mangoes, strawberries. These are my berries and cherries over here. Sweet potato fries and broccoli. And then over here in the freezer, this is my bag of fruit for smoothies, and then also some spinach for smoothies as well. I put my kale in this Ziploc bag so that it's sealable, so I can make some salads with the veggies that I have and chicken. Here is some plain Greek yogurt that I can put on top of my meals. And then I also have vanilla Greek yogurt if I wanted to do a yogurt bowl with some fruit. These eggs I brought from home, and I have some cheese as well as some crackers for some snacking. Smoked salmon for my avocado toast, as well as the bread and avocados that are almost ripe. Some extra sweet potatoes if I want to make some more sweet potato fries. And then once these bananas are ripe, I'm gonna freeze some of them for smoothies and then also some for snacking. Honestly though, having all of this food nice and prepped just makes me feel so much more prepared for the semester. It took a couple hours to do all of that, but it'll save me so much time every single meal for multiple days. And it just makes eating meals so much easier because you don't have to think about it. It's already made and prepared for you. And it just makes me feel so much better when I have healthy, good foods to have. You gotta fuel your body right to feel right. Look at how beautiful this looks. I am so excited to eat this. I love all of the colors. I love having colorful meals. One, because it's good for you, and two, because it just looks so pretty. Here's another example of a meal that I made. It has lots of veggies and was so yummy. And let me know if you want any videos on healthy meal ideas. The next thing that I'm gonna be doing is writing down my class schedule into my journal. You don't have to write it in your journal, but I love having just a physical copy of it that you can reference. And if you write it in your journal like me, you can look back one day and see the classes that you were taking, as well as just have more context to your life, which is something that I am a big proponent of with journaling, adding as much context as you can. You guys know that I like having the date, the time, and the day of the week at the top of my journal entries because it adds more context and weight to your entry. But having your entire class schedule written down, especially like a visual version of it, adds a lot of context to what your day-to-day life looks like while you're journaling. So that's just something that I like to do. Again though, you don't need to do it in your journal. You can always just write it out on a piece of paper, and you can put that in the front of your binder or something just to reference. I just think that writing it out is a really good way to kind of get that schedule in your mind and prepare yourself for the new routine that you're gonna have. Alright, I just finished. It looks so cute. I accidentally messed up right here and wrote lab when this is actually my lab down here, but whatever. I just crossed it off. So on Mondays and Wednesdays I have 3 classes, and then I have 1 lab class on both Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's it. I have a big chunk of time on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, and then Fridays I have no classes, which is really, really nice. I have to savor this while I can though, because my clinicals start in the spring, and then my schedule will get a little bit busier. The next thing that I recommend to prepare for the school year is to use a bullet journal. I actually just finished my September 2022 spreads. It's an apple theme, which is like perfect for back to school. So you can print them out and put them in a binder like this. I have these tabs for each of the months. So there's January, February, and then each month is a different fruit. I haven't printed out my September ones yet, but you're able to use it on an iPad if you like digital planning rather than having a physical copy of it. If you're interested, the link to my Etsy shop is in my bio. There's a bunch of different themes and everything for the different months, so you can choose which one that you want. Each of the fruit themes for 2022 that I've done all include a cover page and a brain dump page where you can just dump whatever's on your mind. There's also a calendar if you want to write important dates, a habit tracker where you can track 6 different habits of yours, and then there's the mood tracker where you can track your mood and your productivity levels, sleep tracker and water tracker for tracking how much sleep you get each night and the hours you sleep, as well as the water that you drink, a spending tracker if you want to budget a little bit, and then also a highlight of the day where you can write a little thing that made your day each day, as well as 4 different weekly trackers. This is a great way to track your weekly to-dos, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video, but they can really come in handy, especially during the busy school year. Again, the link to my Etsy shop is in my bio, and if you want to see more bullet journaling content, go over to my TikTok and also comment down below if you want to see any bullet journaling YouTube videos. Now it's time for one of the worst parts of preparing for a new semester, and that's going through my syllabuses. Nobody likes to do it, but it is so important to really go through them thoroughly and not just glancing at them really quickly, because they got a lot of important stuff in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through some of them. I think only 2 are posted right now of all of my classes, so I can't do them all right now, but I thought I'd go ahead and get like a jump start on it because my classes start in a few days and it stresses me out to not have things prepared. So I wish professors would post the syllabuses sooner, but we're just gonna do what we can in the meantime. I'm gonna write down any like important deadlines and just make sure I kind of have a good understanding of how each class works. So I went through and made a list of like all of the to-dos that I have to do for my classes so far, with like buying the textbook, different deadlines that I need to write down, the chapter readings and homework that I already have even though classes still haven't even started, stuff like that, and other important dates to add to my calendar. I just made like a bulleted list for each class as I was going through each of their syllabuses. Anyway, now I'm gonna make a master calendar of my semester, or at least as much of it as I know for now, and then I'll just add to it as the semester goes on. I highly recommend doing this. So this is what my master calendar usually looks like. I'm blurring it out just because I have some personal things on it, but basically I just have a whole bunch of everything all color-coded, and it's just so easy to see this layout. It's literally just a Google document with different tables in here. Here we are in August, and then so on for the rest of the year. I promise you, this is like the secret of staying on top of your work, especially during the semester when you have lots of homework. I like to write in my classes as well as the homework and the deadlines that I have, different things that I want to do on each days, my social life stuff, my work stuff, literally everything all in one place, and that is, again, my secret of staying on top of my shit. So normally I would go into this Google document and start writing out like my classes and everything else that I know that I just got from my syllabuses, etc. But I think I'm gonna try out using Google Calendar. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. I feel like I've tried a lot of different online organizational calendars and whatnot, and I always go back to my Google document of just the tables on a page because I just like the quick layout and it's a lot easier to navigate for me. But we'll give Google Calendar a try. I very quickly gave up on Google Calendar and I am back with my Google document. Don't get me wrong, I love the weekly layout here of Google Calendar. I really like this as well on the side and how you can like get rid of certain things, but I don't like that you can only see 1 week at a time. And even when you go to the monthly layout, although you can see like multiple weeks here, I don't like how condensed it is. I like having the color coding more visual and not just like these little circles here. This is what my Google document is looking like. It just has my classes right now. This is for September, and I just like having the colors really easy to see. I like how you don't have to schedule anything. Like if I wanted to add a note or something, I could very easily just like type in something right there. I like that it doesn't have to be scheduled. You can highlight things. You can see that I have like my exams and whatnot highlighted. This is just what works for me. I really like it. And then I also have on the side this like sticky note over here. It has all of my classes broken down with like the homework, and then usually I have like a weekly layout here of just like reminders of things to do throughout the week so that the deadlines are really easy to see and it's not kind of all piled in on top of everything else here. So again, that's just the basics of my master calendar, but I highly recommend having something like that, whether it's a physical copy of something if you use Google Calendar, or if you do something like me. I know there's a lot of other resources out there. It is just life-changing. I still need to add in like my YouTube videos when I'm planning on filming each week. When I want to go to the gym, I will literally schedule all of that stuff in, as well as scheduling in self-care, having designated times and days for doing stuff with friends, hanging out, doing certain self-care activities for myself, as well as like other time to do homework and whatnot, or even just free time. I like scheduling in things as much as I can, but I will say that I try to be flexible with it, so a lot of the things have a lot of wiggle room to them because I don't want to stress over it too much. It just mainly serves as a guide for me of when I want to get things done, etc. Although obviously things like homework deadlines and classes are not negotiable, but you guys get the point. Alright, my hair is going up in a messy bun for the planning we're about to do because we are getting serious. Should we just leave it like that? I wish I had some bobby pins. How bad is it? I don't know. We're gonna keep it. Now that we have the basics of everything, we're doing all of the more specific weekly plans. We're going back to my desk over here because this is literally the only place I've been for the past like 2 days. I highly recommend planning out your weeks with as much detail as you can. Well, maybe not as much detail, but you get the point. Definitely start off with the things that are not able to be moved, such as your school classes, if you have a job, your work schedule. For me, YouTube is part of my job, so I will include different different uploads and when I'm doing that, as well as when I try to film them. But anyway, once you have all of the things that can't be moved, make a list of all of your to-dos, all of the things that you want to get done that week, whether it's homework, whether it's meeting up with a friend, other miscellaneous to-dos, things you have to do for your friends or your family or whatever it may be. Make a long list of that. So I've already done that on my computer. I usually have like a running to-do list at all times because I just always have things that I want to do. But once I've gathered that list, I will start inputting them into my week. So like I said, I start off with the things that can't be moved, the non-negotiables, and then I do other like scheduling things, less of like activities, but more of the things that I have to go do. So let's say going to the gym. That's a good thing that I will start next because that's like a good chunk of each day, and there's usually like a designated time or goal time that I'd like to have it at. And then from there I'll do like, okay, here are my classes, here are my gyms. Now this is the extra space I have to schedule around that. And that's when I'll put in some of the more movable things like, okay, I can film this time, I can do homework this time, I can do whatever. And I like to just have a general idea or plan of when I'm gonna get those things done. And then even like little mini to-dos that I have, like buying my textbooks I still need to do, figuring out my parking situation, sending a couple emails, things like that, that can be knocked out pretty quickly. But I even have that like written down on my list of to-dos that I'm going to schedule in my week. What I really want to stress again with planning like this, if you are gonna plan the nitty-gritty things like I do, first of all, that doesn't work for everybody, but for someone like me, a planner, that is literally how I survive. But I will say, secondly, that if you are gonna do something like this, make sure to not stress too much over it. It can be really disheartening and discouraging if you have a lot of things planned for yourself and you don't always get it done. But having flexibility with yourself of, hey, it's okay that I didn't get this done, hey, this can just be moved to this day, that makes things a lot more smooth. So now let's get planning. I feel like a big weight has been lifted off my chest. I feel a lot less scatterbrained now that I have things relatively planned out. And again, it's not like a be-all end-all schedule of everything, but it is a guideline for my entire week and the weeks to come as much as I know for now. It's easy to add things, take things out, rearrange schedules. I swear it is how I survive and get so much stuff done because it's all planned out, and it makes me have so much more peace of mind knowing that I have a designated time to work on it. And even if it doesn't end up happening that way, it's still just a guideline. Right now, all of the things I have to do or want to do has a little home, has a place, and I can always adjust it as needed. So I have everything blurred out for privacy purposes, but right here on the left is my homework to-do list. This is like a weekly layout of homework to-dos that I will fill in as the semester starts, mainly just having the deadlines over here just so that they're quick and easy to see. I usually have this pulled up on the side of my computer at all times. And then here in the middle is my master calendar. This is my saving grace. I would not survive without this calendar. I have literally everything in here. This layout doesn't work for everybody, but I like having everything all in one place where I can see it. Color coding saves my life. Again, it doesn't work for everybody, but this is what works best for me. It can be kind of overwhelming to see it all, but that's why I have this over here, which is my to-do list of pretty much everything. As you can see, they're kind of separated out because I have to-do lists for busy work to do, YouTube things, and literally everything else. I kind of have them sectioned out. This is kind of just like a master to-do list that I can reference. And then I also like making daily to-do lists as well. The reason I have the weekly homework deadlines is so that it doesn't get lost in my master calendar here. I go through it every single week and I will put on my weekly homework stuff. And then also with exams, I have them clearly noted on my master calendar here. And you can see as time goes on, my calendar gets emptier and emptier, but I definitely will continue adding to it as the semester goes on. And I have it all the way down to December. Let me know what system works best for you guys for staying organized and on top of things, because I would really love to know. I wish I could create or like invent a software that would be like my perfect online planning system. I know Notion is a good one for a lot of people, but I feel like I'm so much of a perfectionist that I would spend hours and hours and hours trying to make it perfect. And my trusty old Google document is just so straightforward and easy, and I just like that. I know none of us like to actually do this, this, but fixing your sleep schedule is super important for starting the school year off strong. This semester I have 2 classes starting at 8 a.m. and then I also have another one starting at 8:30 on a different day. So I really have to make sure that I have somewhat fixed my sleep schedule before I start all of those early classes. So I'm going to be trying to go to bed earlier so that I can get enough sleep before those crazy early classes. I usually like to journal before I go to bed just to kind of wind down. Sometimes I do it throughout the day though. But since my rule for myself is that I have to start journaling before midnight, if I set myself to do it before I go to bed, that means I will also be going to bed before midnight. So that's just my own little trick kind of that I have for myself. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys!